the depression, the anxiety, the not worthiness, the not enoughness. And so I thought I was struggling with myself. And I couldn't even go because I thought that I'm going to be judged.
So many people that you and I know that we read about in the newspaper, and we really think, wow, I'd love to be like that person. These are the people who are struggling.
Struggle the most.
Yeah, they are.
I'm struggling, and doesn't mean that I'm stupid, doesn't mean that I'm broken, doesn't mean that something is wrong with me.
Maybe the person's using cocaine and they're exercising excessively. The thing that's funny is typically the family says, oh yeah, the exercise is fine. It's the cocaine we're worried about. We need to worry about all of that.
You can love your dad and you can hate the addiction. They're not connected.
At the same time.
They're
That's
not
right.
connected.
That's right.
So because what happened is what we do, I'm getting goosebumps. Holy shit. I love how you said it.
If you have a staff person who is in trouble, don't fire them. Get them help. If you can get that person into quality treatment, they're going to be a much, not only better employee, but
Grateful.
better than any employee you've ever had. Kids should not have their phones during the day in school. They just shouldn't.
So you got to promise me you're creating the phone addiction, and then I'm going to be the first patient. Welcome to the Mastering the Inner World and Outer World podcast. Today I have my guest. My guest is Dr. Rachel Docekal, and she is Are you a founder of or you just always work for the organization? Because I did not of the Hanley organization, because you worked there from 2010. Tell us more about you. Let's start with you. Okay. So it's gonna be better introduction. So I'm not gonna read this for you guys.
So I'm the CEO of Hanley Foundation. Hanley has been around since 1986. It was one of the first not-for-profit treatment centers here in the United States, and it was founded by Mary Jane and Jack Hanley with the community. So they didn't want to be owner-operators. What they knew is that Florida needed an amazing resource for people with behavioral health issues. In 1986, most people weren't yet talking about addiction. They weren't talking about mental health, at least not in the way we are today. And so their vision of creating this center right in the heart of West Palm Beach. And of course, nobody even knows we're there. It's 14 acres of botanical gardens, the most incredible medical and clinical teams that you can find anywhere, and no one knows we're there. So.
Well, now we're going to tell everybody. We're going to tell the whole world, so it's not a hidden anymore. So it started in 1986. But where I disagree with you, it's 2025, and I think the mental health is not touched enough. I really do.
I agree.
mean, for sure, 1986. But even with all the resources we have, you guys like a hidden sparkle because you are the biggest in Florida, and the mental health, even my podcast it's mental health, because we're all hiding. When we have some kind of issues, the inner dialogue, we think we're the problem. I really think that I'm the only one.
Everybody thinks that. That shame.
Exactly. The shame, the
you
guilt
to
and shame.
Isolate. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, dude, I'm the leader, I have this. How can I tell people that I'm dealing with all this issue, the depression, the anxiety, the not worthiness, the not enoughness. And so I thought I was struggling with myself, and I couldn't even go because I thought that I'm going to be judged.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the stereotype also, it's still in 2025, is that if you see the therapist or you go to the clinic or you go to the any kind of resort that do all the help, you struggle with drugs, alcohol, or even mental health, they think that, that you're broken, that you're stupid, there's something wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with you, because I've been through it.
And so many people that you and I know that we read about in the newspaper, and we really think, wow, I'd love to be like that person. These are the people who are struggling.
Struggle the most.
Yeah, they are.
They're antidepressants, depressants. They they drink, they do drugs. Me. You know what I mean? So on the outside world, I look good, but on the inside, I was like struggling and asking for help, and I was scared to ask for help. So how do you break the stigma of like openness or vulnerability? Because when I become vulnerable, first I went to the therapist. I really drove by. I didn't want to call anybody because I was scared. Yeah. I didn't want to tell anybody in my bubble because I was scared that they're going to use this as my weapon against me, or when I become vulnerable and they're going to think there's something wrong with me. Like, what are you complaining about? You got all this shit. Like, what are you I'm like, dude, I'm empty. There's like something wrong with me. So I went to the therapist, completely drive by. And I asked, like, dude, I'm going through this shit. Like, you don't know me. You don't know who I am, what I have, all this stuff. And it was like a good therapy. I'm like, okay, that's too good to be truth. So I went and see the other one. But this time I did appointment online. And then I start opening to my coaches. I start opening to my friends, to my family. I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one. How do we break the stigma?
I think we break it by doing exactly what we're doing today. We have people who are willing to step up to a microphone, who are willing to talk about it. And as people hear your story, as people hear my story, that's the power of getting help. A lot of what we do is group work, and people resonate with what they're hearing from their peers in the group. There are many, many, many people who are struggling who aren't getting help for the reason that you're identifying. It's a shame. It's a shame.
I mean, the numbers. It's like 740,000 suicides a year. You know what I mean? And those are people. They have wives. They have kids. They have businesses. They have jobs. They really they lost the battle with the voices within. You know what I mean? Walk me through to the program, because I know you have a lot of you do a lot of mental. You have mental, like a department, mental health department. You have drug, alcohol. Can you tell me more about like everything you guys do?
Sure. So Hanley is really a place that anybody can find help. So I am so proud to let you know that we are the largest provider of prevention services here in Florida. So we start with the youngest kids in classrooms, and we talk about things like making good choices. When we're talking to elementary kids, we're not talking about drugs and alcohol. When kids get a little bit older, when they're in middle school, when they're in high school, we're in the classrooms doing programming, but we're also helping those.
So you go into schools? And
We do. We work with more than 250,000 kids every year in Florida.
What the hell? That's amazing.
And we try to help them understand that putting your hand up if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling depressed, is the right thing to do. Because what do all of us want to do? We want to isolate. Yeah. You feel like I'm the only one this is happening to, and you feel a sense of shame, you feel embarrassment, and then you take a step back, when really what we should be doing is taking a step forward. So the first thing we do is we work with kids. The second thing we do is we work with professionals. How many primary care physicians, how many neurologists, how many OBGYNs really don't understand addiction at all? So at Hanley, we have programs really for anybody. We have programs for men. We have programs for women. We have program for pregnant women, where after the woman has the baby, she can bring the baby back to our campus. We have a program specifically for older adults, and it's one of our most remarkable programs. People come in, and you would think, oh, they have dementia, they have Alzheimer's, they have something. These are people who 60 days later walk out clear as a bell. it was really psychoses that was caused by whatever that substance use is. We have a program for people of wealth and privilege and fame. Now this program is apart from the rest of the programs on campus because these again are people that we see in the headlines.
Yeah, we
Folks
don't want to
who-
like. I don't want to be seen like I'm telling you like I was like, and the hiding is like because it is a, I mean, shame. Like to me, it was a shame just to come out and say like, what the hell's going on with me? You know what I mean? So
that shame, it is, I understand it, but it's something that we all need to work on. I had a problem with one of my contacts a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the eye doctor. I didn't feel any shame. I couldn't see. There was something going on with my eye. They figured out what it was. It was diagnosed. I had a change in my prescription, and now I can see you very clearly. That's how we should be approaching behavioral health. And if
we have to break
did,
the stigma. We have to make it normalize it. We have to make it that there's not a shame. There's nothing wrong with you. There's like, you know what I mean? It's like going to see a doctor. It's like going to see the gym, going
That's
to
right.
see a coach. So, like it's, hey, I'm struggling. It doesn't mean that I'm stupid. Doesn't mean that I'm broken. Doesn't mean that something is wrong with me. It's regular feeling like I know that right now. So that's why, like I want to do the march, men awareness march. So people, bring the family, because then if it's a man, then the wife struggle with that. The kids struggle with that. If it's a wife, then the husband struggle. And it's it's a little unspoken, still like putting under the blanket issue that we all have, because at the end of the day, we are humans. And when we start hiding, when we start sedating with drugs, alcohol, food gobbling, like it's unresolved wounds and trauma that, it's got to go deep, and the therapist can go find you and you can find yourself.
that's right.
So how
That's
long
right.
are your programs and like, do people find you? You find people, or I love how you go to the schools, because then the kids go to home and then it's like, hey, mom, dad, this is what happened. I love it because, it's the younger generation.
Yeah.
So do you actually doing it?
One of the big challenges in the behavioral health field is it's very difficult to tell the difference between the type of quality program that Hanley has that's evidence-based and research-based with true medical care and true clinical care, and somebody that is a for-profit, private equity firm, just churning through and trying to make a profit. We need a better way to help families get their loved ones quality treatment. And Hanley is truly quality treatment. People find us online. People a lot of times find us through alumni. As you know, we've been, as we talked about, doing this work since 1986. We have tens of thousands of people across the world who their lives and their families' lives have been saved by Hanley. So those folks a lot of times say, you know what, I think you need help, and we'll send their friend to us.
I think it's because I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't know anything until thank God you're here. So I'm really grateful, and I didn't know about it. And and you guys one of the you are the biggest in Florida.
But we're also the best kept secret.
Yeah.
I mean, and we are a nonprofit. So where do our extra dollars go? They don't go into marketing. They go into scholarships. So if somebody's insurance runs out after 3 weeks, we don't say, either come up with dollars or you're out on the street. We find scholarship dollars and we keep those people in treatment. If somebody can't get into treatment because they don't have money to pay their deductible, we have scholarship dollars for that. And then we have scholarship dollars for people who just can't afford quality treatment, or their insurance has lapsed, or. There are lots of different scenarios, and we're there to help.
Okay. And you, what kind of programs, for alcohol, drugs, walk me through exactly what you guys do.
Sure, you name it. So everything we do is co-occurring. We can take the most medically complex cases. We actually have a partnership with Tampa General where if they have somebody who's in liver failure, they will come to Hanley. So we have a full medical team. We have a full clinical team. And so there are substance use disorders. We treat all of those substances. There are also what we call process disorders, and some of those you talked about, gambling, exercise, food, whatever those process disorders are, we work with those as well. Sexual dysfunction, for example. But what we typically find is that somebody comes in and they have three things. They have some sort of mental health challenge, and sometimes their mental health challenge is a lot worse than the substance use or process disorder. And in that case, we'll stabilize them. We have 10 primary mental health beds as well. And so they'll go into our mental health program. And then when they are stable, then they'll come out of that and they will go and be treated for, what is usually both a process disorder as well as a substance use disorder. So it's something like, for example, what you were talking about, maybe the person's using cocaine and they're exercising excessively. The thing that's funny is typically the family says, oh yeah, the exercise is fine. It's the cocaine we're worried about. We need to worry about all of that,
Sedation.
That's
I'm telling
right.
you, you're escaping reality. Like to
That's
me,
right.
I was escaping reality. I didn't want to deal with all that other shit. So let me go on the freaking 100, 200 mile bike ride.
Yeah.
So I have the physical pain, so I don't have to deal with my emotional, mental pain.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And because I was coping so well, and I was hiding all my pains, all my wounds, and all my trauma for so long, when I hit age of 46, I almost committed suicide. Because it's like, dude, I'm done. I cannot do this shit anymore.
Yeah.
So, and then my journey started, and that's why we are here sitting. So what is the more common, all those people have in common? Like, what you guys find out that
Yeah, so it typically is trauma. So we say that your family or whatever that situation is can press your buttons because they installed them. So it typically goes back to some sort of traumatic event.
I love what you said, guys. They install your. It's the program. It's really they really.
It's really
install.
true.
But I'm father of 4, right? So what happened is, I did this unconsciously, because that's how my parents taught me.
Yes, of course.
So what happened is my kids joined the programming. You know what I mean? So, how did you say it? Insert them?
So your family knows how to press your buttons
Yeah.
because they installed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened is then I was continue doing the same thing unconsciously
Yeah,
to my kids because that was my blueprint.
that's right. That's
Okay.
right. It's
And then-
intergenerational trauma that
Exactly.
started way up here,
Yeah.
but is now manifesting itself down here.
Yeah.
100%.
And then suddenly it's like, no, that shit doesn't work. So now I want to break the generational curses. Like I'm the generational breaker. It's like talk about love, talk about self-love, talk about drugs, alcohol, the sedation. It's like, because for me, it was, how you get caught. I just put a Band-Aid. I have a 1 drink. I have 2 drinks. You know what I mean? I have a pill. I have some drugs to kind
That's
of
right.
sedate, but I never dealt with the pain. The true. How you guys dealing with all this stuff that people carry? Because it's hard to reprogram somebody with the young kids, which I love with what you guys do, because it's a lot easier to reprogram younger person. And now you
So-
have somebody like me, 50 years old, is like, what the fuck?
Let's talk about both.
Please.
Let's talk about both because
you.
we do both.
Okay.
So, first of all, somebody who recognizes that they have an issue and comes to us, that's half the battle right there. We do a ton of trauma work. And, for example, not at Hanley, but, I've gone through EMDR to deal with my trauma. There are lots of ways that people can can figure out what that trauma response is, what the trauma is that's hooked to that trauma response, and then work on, getting well, essentially. When somebody comes into Hanley, we have a full team who assesses them. So this team is going to say, what is wrong physically? What is wrong mentally? What is the substance use disorder or process disorder or both? And this team then puts together a treatment plan that's unique for every single individual who's in our center. One component of this is family programming. So let's say your spouse, for example, you would go to family with your spouse. We do something really unique. We actually started this protocol back in 2011. For the first couple of days of family, your loved one is not paired with you. He or she would be paired with another patient who had already gone through family. And what we found is it enables the family member to really empathize and understand what the patient is going through. Then in the latter part of the family program, the patient and the spouse or the patient and the family is brought together and they do that work together. It's 5 full days. It is intense work, but it enables the patient to then go back to a healthy environment instead of going back to an environment that was, at the very least, enabling the behavioral health challenges. Here's the thing that's interesting. You're young. I'm sure your children are under age 18. We have, at some point they were. We have a program that is specifically for children ages 7 through 12 years. And this program talks about addiction as the bad guy and treatment and recovery as the superheroes who come in to defeat addiction. We worked with Jerry Moe, who
I love it.
It's amazing.
I love it.
And things like, why does mom or dad have to go to meetings? We talk about that like school. That's like homework. Treatment is like school. Going to meetings and keeping up with your therapist, that is like homework, and it's something that you need to do. And kids come out of that program understanding that their loved one's addiction has nothing to do with them. They weren't part of it, and they can understand, I can love my dad and I can hate addiction at the exact same time. It is really powerful, and it's free.
What you said. It's free.
It's
Did you
free.
hear this? I love that. I want you to go deeper on that. I really do. You can love your dad and you can hate the addiction. They're not connected.
At the same time.
They're
That's
not
right.
connected.
That's right.
So because what happened is what we do. I'm getting goosebumps. Holy shit! I love how you said it. Because the addiction, and the mom or dad or whatever friend or whoever brother sister, we put them together as a.
Right.
We identify as a you.
And kids are smart, and so they understand if that's one thing, then it's in conflict, right? It's a dichotomy because
how can I love my dad or how can I love my mom?
Right.
How can I love him if she is this, but she is who she is, and addiction is what addiction, and you just separate both of them.
I sat in a family program with children a number of years ago, and this little boy, you could see the conflict on his face as he was trying to come up with the courage to speak. And finally he said, I feel really afraid when my mommy locks me in the closet so that I stay safe when she drinks. And, that really says it all about how devastating addiction can be, but also how parents who are trying to keep their children safe, but this is a brain disease. When you are addicted to a controlled substance, there is no choice here. There is no choice. You would do anything to have that substance.
I call it a soul disease, but that's why different. That's why you're a doctor. I'm not. I'm just saying that I think it's really the soul is sick and it's looking for answers and looking for, and then the brain it just goes and it's hard. It took me so long to build, because of my brain health, and I'm huge on the brain health. All this stuff I do, it's a brain health.
Yeah.
And it took me so long to build it. And when I really crumble in 30 days.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, what?
We have a whole center for brain recovery, and we do a lot of neuro work, and we're able to show people this is your brain when you first come into treatment. It's a sick brain. It is a dying brain, but our brains are resilient. And after 45 days, we're able to show people incredible healing that's already starting. It's one of the best ways that we keep people from relapsing because, those cravings, people want to use. They really do. It takes a while until they don't anymore.
Mm-hmm. How many people, because I'm struggling with addictions, it's because a lot of successful people, they're addicts, because who's gonna freaking work 24 hours a day, I was passing out for 15 minutes. I'm like, the same thing, who in the same mind is gonna do Ironman or triple Ironman? You gotta be insane,
Sure.
So how many people relapse? How do you, and you guys have completely open door, you relapse and you come back, or there's
No.
policies or?
No. I mean, of course, we have amazing policies that surround every component of what we do. But if somebody does relapse, first of all, we want to try to get them when it's in that position of prelapse. You know that you're in trouble, but you haven't yet crossed over into a relapse. We have an incredible alumni department that keeps in touch with our alumni. And if we can catch somebody in that prelapse, that's what we want to do. Mm-hmm. If the person does relapse and they put their hand up and say they want help, we get them back in as quickly as possible.
Okay. Do you guys combine families? Do you coaching families how to deal with that? Because a lot of times on the beginning, the family also hides. The husband hides the wife, the wife hides the husband, or there's an issue with the kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because there's what our family is gonna think, that we did not. First that. So do you have a family counseling? So how to deal with somebody who's going through some whatever issues they have, or how do you?
We do.
Okay.
We do, definitely. But there are two types of families. So there's the family that wants their loved one to get help. And then there's the family that, for whatever reason, wants to keep their loved one in his or her addiction. That's the family that's really difficult to deal with. That's
Why
the
would
spouse.
Well, walk me through that. What do you mean? Family wants to what?
Yeah. I mean, it's mind-boggling, but maybe it is control. That as long as the person,
because she's easy to control, or she's easy to control, and
yeah, and it's not just women. A lot of times it's men as well.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so that's one of our big struggles. A secondary struggle is really workplaces. I want, you're a CEO, I'm a CEO. I want to say to the CEOs out there, if you have a staff person who is in trouble, don't fire them. Get them help. If you can get that person into quality treatment, typically they're going to be a much not only better employee, but
Grateful.
better than any employee you've ever had.
If you
forever.
If you help them when nobody else was willing to help, you're gonna have enormous like a grateful employee, like you said, for longer time.
That's right. And then the most difficult situation that we deal with is somebody who clearly needs help but does not think that they do. So I can talk about a family member of mine who's no longer with us. This individual was drinking about 14 drinks a day. And I mean, it was really, really a difficult situation to watch because this was all alcohol. The alcohol was truly killing this individual, and he did not in any way, shape, or form think that he had a problem with alcohol. And, even in my own family, it's difficult for me to deal with it because when somebody has really built their life around drinking and all of those rituals that go along with it. So this individual...
There's the programming.
It is. It's programming of our society. So this individual is no longer with us. And now as I look back at pictures of this person, every single picture, there's a alcoholic beverage in his hand. Every single photo.
But... okay, so we do, because I have family member that I've been working for like 6 years, right? Mm-hmm. And for 6 years, because you said awareness is the 50% of the bottle, right? But I think of the winning, with the not the bottle, but just the bottle, and for 6 years, denial. Then suddenly it's like, holy shit, I got a problem. In a week, we fix the problem. Sober 5 years.
Fantastic.
The awareness, I think the awareness is the main, hey, I do have a problem. Because the second, like for me, I'm just a weekend alcoholic. And suddenly, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then Thursday, this weekend, and I validated for myself. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
I have a board member she is one of the most fabulous people I've ever met. Mm-hmm. And everywhere she goes, she says, hi, I'm Whitney, I'm a drug addict. I mean, she's been in recovery many, many, many years now, but this is her way of trying to normalize and get that stigma away so that people understand if somebody like her can put their hand up and say, recovery is possible and it's super cool, that, recovery is possible and it's super cool.
I'm thinking about my experience because everybody goes through the journey differently, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was very, very hard to change the identity. Mm. You know what I mean? Because as like you said, one of a friend, everywhere you look at it is a picture of beer or like whatever, alcoholic drink. Mm-hmm. Like
That's
for
right.
me, if you did not drink, there was something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
then,
what happened is my whole Bible was always like, what I mean? Now in the last 5 years, I mean, it's everywhere I go, nobody drinks. If I drink right now, it would be weird. Mm-hmm. I will be the only one drinking. Yep. You know what I mean? But I struggle. So the first year, 2 years, changing the identity. Mm-hmm. And then what happened is I have to change identity again because now I got to get rid of the person that helped me go through the recovery and then change the identity again because now I am who I am. I'm not the person who's struggling with the recovery. You know what I mean? Yeah. But for me, recovery, I I was everything. Like literally, like I'm telling you, work, workouts, alcohol, drugs, like food, every you can imagine. Mm-hmm. Like I knew it's like, hey, whatever makes me feel better, I'm going over there, and I was just switching from one addiction to another, and until like we talked before the podcast, until I started like drinking too much. Now my family is gonna have intervention with me. I'm like, what? Like that's me. It's I was doing this entire life, but people didn't see it. how do we change the view of the society that it's a problem, and it doesn't have to start with something, with the drugs. It doesn't have to be hard drugs. It doesn't have to be hard liquor, but it's like, hey, the person is not well. They're kind of like, because I'm still struggling. You could not tell me I have symptoms of addiction on the beginning because I felt too comfortable. It's like bullshit. I you know what I mean? I don't do that. And like I told you, like, Friday, Saturday turn to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday. Then how do you, I love what you do with the kids. You see, I'm answering my own questions right now. That was a question for you. I love how you do it with the kids, but how do we just implement the healthy way of living?
Yeah. The question that you're asking is made so much more complex by the smartphone and social media.
It's not addict, it's dopamine, like right there.
It is.
Right
it
there.
is.
Right there.
And what we've seen, there are studies, and I should have brought one with, there are studies that show that when Facebook, because that was really the original, was introduced on its first college campus, and then the different college campuses, we can actually chart the challenges that students, young people started to have with essentially social anxiety. So when I was young, if my friends went to the movies, for example, without me, I likely wouldn't have known, or I would have found out maybe a couple weeks later. Maybe my feelings would have been hurt, but that was then, right? Today, if your friends go to the movies and you are on social media and they're posting real time, this is one of the reasons that we've seen the type of increase in suicide that, we've seen. But really that dramatic increase in rates of anxiety and loneliness and just all of the mental health challenges. The good news is that when it comes to alcohol, and for so many years, alcohol really was the primary door.
I mean, it's a legal drug.
It still is.
Yeah.
But we know that the rates of alcohol use among kids are lower. The bad news is that the kids who are drinking to such excess that the rates of alcohol toxicity and, things like, that are a result of drinking in such excess are skyrocketing. We also are seeing that sort of psychoses with marijuana. So now that marijuana has become legal and the levels of THC are going up, many of the folks who come into our mental health program are coming in with what looks like a psychotic break. It turns out it's just marijuana psychoses. We're getting most of these folks back, most. But, it's very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. We've got to keep talking about it. We've got to start at the youngest ages and help kids learn how to make good decisions. And good decisions do not include, shot after shot after shot.
I wanted two things. I want to talk about isolation, but before I go to isolation, because you touch amazing point. You already have program for phone addictions for kids
not specifically just for that, but we weave that into all of our prevention programs because it's really about things like making good decisions. We also are working with schools and the legislature. Kids should not have their phones during the day in school. They just shouldn't. I mean, they're not able to go in there and learn. And, we hear parents say things like, well, what if I need to reach them? What if there's an emergency?
Yeah.
Then you'll call the front office and they'll get called to the office.
There was no cell phones for 100, 200 years. It's like...
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's just silly. It's just silly.
because I really, with the AI coming up, the AI is here, what I'm talking about. It's the addiction and the scrolling and the constant dopamine hit.
Terrifying.
It's quicker than cocaine and anything else. And it's just like, and they don't even know. You put the phone away from your kids. And even for myself, sometimes I'm like, motherfucker, like, I want to grab the phone. Like, I have to watch myself. Like, literally. Like, I was on and I'm guilty. I was on the flight 2 days ago. I was coming back from Colorado, and I was like, every time when I get on a flight, I love to read books. I got my books, and unconsciously
on the phone or on?
No.
Oh,
I read books. I read books.
Book.
I read
paper
books.
book. I love paper books.
Yeah. I read books because the reason I have 4 kids. So what happened is if I read on the phone, they think I'm on the phone.
Yes.
When they see me constantly walking and reading the book, they know I'm reading.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And people, the kids don't look what you tell them and what you do. So that's why a few years ago, I only did audiobooks or books on the phone, and now I only read books. And I touch my phone. I'm not kidding you. 4 hours later, I'm landing. I'm like, are you kidding me? 4 hours. 4 freaking hours. I was so mad at myself. Are you like? And then I have the awareness.
Yeah.
I did not read one word of the book because if I would touch the book, I knew that I would go back to the book.
Yeah.
The phone, was like a good internet, like Wi-Fi was amazing. And I was just scrolling. I started with the text messages. Oh, I have to text this person, this. And then suddenly, like, in the air, let me look at this. Let me look at my social media. Rachel, I was so pissed at myself. And I'm telling you, like, reading in a plane, I just relaxed. I'm like, I love to fly, by the window and just relax and zero. So I know, and I see how my kids are. So you guys, like, we got to put to Hanley a little bit more phone addiction, because that's going to be a new addiction, because that's when I do it personally, I know I'm not sitting with myself with my own thoughts. It's suddenly like like an algorithm.
It is an algorithm,
and I'm really programming my subconscious mind and then what's going on in my brain, and the algorithm can switch very quickly.
That's right.
So you got to promise me creating the phone addiction, and then I'm going to be the first patient.
We are, Hanley is under construction. One of our campuses is under construction right now in West Palm. We are in around April of 2026 opening a recovery-based bookstore with real books, tangible books that you can, dog ear and mark the page and all the rest of it. It is something that we need to get back to. I mean, there is such satisfaction about being in a book and really being able to just lose yourself in thought and contemplation, and doesn't happen with.
Okay. Rachel, thank you for coming. Tell us more about Hanley. Where can we find you? How can give us all the information? We're gonna put the links. We're gonna put everything.
Okay, so it is hanleyfoundation.org, HANLEY foundation.org, or Hanley Center, CENTER.org. If you go to the second one, hanleycenter.org. It takes you right into the treatment campus website. And then our phone number is 561-841-1000.
Thank you. And there is one more thing that I always ask. You got to do me a favor.
Sure.
This is your camera. Anybody who is struggling right now, anybody that needs help, can you please just give them a message? I would really appreciate it.
Sure. I think what I want to say is recovery is possible. Even if you've tried a dozen times, sometimes that's what it takes. Recovery is possible. And if you think you're alone, you're not. There are many, many, many individuals who are right where you are right now. Just reach out. We can help. 561-841-1000. You're not alone.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. If you like it, share it. Send it to somebody that really needs it, who needs to hear this. Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening. Leave your comments and subscribe for more insights on mastering the inner and outer wealth.